a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe below. Today we're going to be talking about wide receiver rankings for your 2018 redraft season. So crack a cold one and enjoy.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Here's guys that are going around him. You tell me who you'd rather own, okay? Kenny Stills. 100% Kenny Stills for me. Cameron Meredith or Martavis Bryant? I'll go with the upside of Cameron Meredith. Rashard Matthews or Martavis Bryant? Matthews again. Martavis Bryant or Danny Amendola? I mean, Amendola, but slightly. Kenny Galladay or Martavis Bryant? I'd rather take my chances with Galladay. I had a nightmare that he was like standing in our room and he was on fire.
On fire.
I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire.
No, it depends on what you ate and drank. It can be very flammable.
Oh, yeah. 151, stay away. Everclear, stay away.
Caribou Lou?
When's the last time you had an Everclear shot? Ever like the grain alcohol?
We'll go back to the Facebook Live and talk to Chad. Everclear, we had some Everclear up in the old Minnesota. You know what? I want to say it was prom night. Circa 1945.
Damn. That's the last time?
Like, I can vividly just had a memory pop through my head.
No jungle juice, huh, for you?
Not on prom night, no.
Jungle juice is good. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll make jungle juice tomorrow night.
That's the main ingredient.
Is what? 151?
Yeah.
I cut out the juice
It's
and
just
straight for the main ingredient.
It's just all like clear alcohol, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like gin,
Everclear. It's rum.
Vodka.
Yeah, it's all the clear
Okay.
stuff.
You could even do tequila, right? I wouldn't, but
That
that's
doesn't
none of my
sound like
business.
good mixing.
Tequila will get you in trouble.
So what are we here for, Travis?
We're here for a good time, everybody. We're here for a good time. We're here for fantasy football. We're here for a good conversation with good people. This is TCP, the Triple Coverage Podcast. We are doing wide receiver rankings. We're going to do our consensus rankings for us here at TCP. I'm here with the boys James Up and Jay Up.
What's up, guys?
Whoop.
That was James and Jay respectively, and I'm Travis Sutton.
Hey, dudes.
You're on again and off again host.
Yes.
Hello.
Today's on. Next week, who knows?
Who knows? I might not be here. So we're gonna get, I guess, right started with this, huh?
Yeah.
You guys want to do some little talking, a little prefacing while
Yeah.
I get the last little bits in order?
Put those
Yeah, so-
rankings up on the board, too.
So we're going to do what, the top 24 today?
Yeah, let's do the top 24 rankings.
So we took our rankings individually, and then Travis put them in the what would you call that?
In the processor, the machine. I don't know.
Yes,
We need a good name for it.
we rerouted the inscriptors and came up with our consensus picks so that we were all on the same page.
Boop, beep, boop, boop, boop.
Beep beep boop boop. It took a lot of calculations. It took a lot of formulas, and we got our top 24. We actually did through 100, but for right now, we have the top 24 that we're going to talk about today. I would do undo. I would go up to the top right now immediately and go edit undo, all the way to the top.
Whatever button you push in there.
Keep
is a
doing
wrong
it.
button.
Keep doing it. Whatever you just did wasn't it. I'm pretty sure though that I'm very firm. I'm fair and I'm firm that the number one guy has got to be Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Antonio Brown is definitely the number one guy. I think all three of us, as a matter of fact, had him as the number one.
We did. I'm looking at it now. Okay, here it is. So consensus number one, Antonio Brown. Anything to say about him?
No, if he stays healthy for the 16 games and you have Roethlisberger there for the whole 16 games, then
I mean,
he should easily be the number one receiver too.
Finished wide receiver one last season without even, like, didn't he miss 3 games because of his calf injury?
Yeah, that was at the end of the season too, and he still finishes.
Number one. So you obviously, if you are an Antonio Brown owner, you love it, and you're gonna stick with him until he.
Till the wheels fall off.
You know, I know. Like I own him in a league, and I'm a little up in the air. I don't want to be the guy that waits too long on a guy and then he can't get rid of him. But I also am not willing to trade a guy that I think is going to be a top 2 wide receiver scoring wise going into the season.
But the guys like Antonio Brown are the ones I'd rather just ride off in the sunset with. And if I don't work out a deal and he ends up retiring while I own him, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
He's not a middling guy.
I haven't come to that yet. That realization of like a, you know what I mean? I have yet to have a guy retire on my team. It's only been a few seasons, but I thought Frank Gore was going to be that type. I could not get anybody to take him. Finally got Travis to take him, and then of course he goes to Miami, which again I think he's going to be actually fantasy relevant again.
Yeah,
the guy just won't die
because he's not getting all of the carries.
Well,
so
he can
will be
die.
fantasy relevant.
He can die on Travis's team. Okay, it ain't gonna be mine.
I'll be good with that. I need a RB2 I can plug in.
Okay, so wide receiver 2
was Odell Beckham on the consensus.
See, Odell Beckham, I had him at 3. You guys both had him at 2. It's not that big of a difference. I'm just not. I don't know. What's the stuff that he's done has been ridiculous. He's got the talent. I like DeAndre Hopkins better.
Talking about pizza and Parmesan? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about him off-field issues and being a head case on the sideline. I'm more comfortable playing DeAndre Hopkins every single week than I am with Odell Beckham. But, again, we're splitting hairs. So you have Antonio Brown 1, Beckham is number 2, and DeAndre Hopkins number 3. Not much to say about any 3 of those guys, do you think?
And this all should be everybody's like tier 1, basically. Like,
Correct.
these are my 3 guys that are in tier 1, and the next guy goes into tier 2. So if you get any one of those guys, Brown, Beckham, or Hopkins, at the start of your draft,
You're taking
you're
him in the
looking
first round, and you're good. Second tier, then, Jay?
good. Number 4 starts off with Keenan Allen, who's a guy that I have at number 4 overall, and he's number 2 in the tier.
Let's not talk tiers because my tiers are different.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
Me too.
If you want to see our tiers,
Where can they go?
They can go to the website triplecoveragepodcast.com. Look for the rankings tab and go looking for it. It's in there
I was
somewhere.
thinking the same thing. So I was 5. We were both, me and Travis were 5. Jay, you liked him at number 4. So we actually have him ahead of Keenan Allen. We're talking. We have him ahead of Julio Jones and Michael Thomas. Is anyone still scared of his injury history, or do we all think it's just bad luck? And we kind of chalked it up. Last season, he obviously played all 16 games and annihilated. He's
Planet
a PPR
healthy.
monster.
Planet Healthy. I'm stamping his passport.
He's approved to Planet Healthy.
He's just stamping his passport now.
He's already stamped. He plays
I
healthy the
don't
whole
think
season.
Mine was not stamped until he completed a full season at least. Now, as of right now on this episode, you're approved. Welcome to Planet Healthy.
Rigorous standards for the
You know
passport.
how am I with injuries?
Hate him.
Not fair but firm.
You're
Not
wishy-washy.
fair but
The
firm.
only one is Andrew Luck.
Is Cameron Meredith stamped?
No, not even
Better
close.
not be.
Not even close. I'll tell you week like 10 or 11 of his passport stamped. Again, Cameron Meredith is not stamped, and I own him, and I would wish it was stamped, but it's not. Number 5, Julio Jones. Again, not much to argue with in the top 5. As far as wide receivers go, Julio Jones is a PPR monster. Not even that. He's a yardage. He doesn't even need the touchdowns. If he gets the touchdowns at this point, it's a bonus. He's not known for getting double digits, but when he does,
He's the wide receiver 1.
he's a wide receiver 1.
If he gets double-digit touchdowns, he's probably going to be the number 1 wide receiver.
And this is someone that's going to go in the back end of the first round, maybe at the very start of the second round, depending on how your
Julio?
draft is going. Yeah.
Yeah, has he fallen out of the first round yet?
You're not taking any quarterbacks or tight ends, and you're going to look at at least 7 running backs.
Right, so the top 5 are
So the
receivers.
top 5 are receivers. So Julio Jones is someone that's going to go around
You're shaking
like
your
the
head
12
no. You think
or
he-
the 201.
You're saying he won't be in the
I
first
think
round?
the majority of people would take Julio over Keenan Allen.
Oh, you're saying he will be in the top first round then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think we all are saying the same
Okay.
thing. I don't know. In a PPR 1 point per catch, Keenan Allen and Julio Jones to me is a complete coin flip.
To us, yeah, for sure.
Who-
But
who-
when you just
Just because of the name?
show up to your drafts and you see Julio and Keenan Allen, like it's a natural state that Julio
Name
is
cachet.
thrown around with Antonio and Odell, and you know what I mean.
Well, I'm
So-
still thinking he's in the back end of the first round, or like you said, if someone does take Keenan Allen, then he's probably the very first pick of the second round.
But the difference, though, is that Keenan Allen, I could see getting 110 catches to 120 catches easily, just having a good season. But the yardage is not going to be the same as Julio. Julio might get 85 catches, but the same amount, or 200 more yards than Keenan Allen. So if you're in a PPR league, this a point per reception. Either one of these guys is great, but yeah, I don't know. It's a complete coin flip for me.
Yeah, they're both good number 1s to have.
For sure. That brings us to number 6, Michael Thomas. Consensus number 6. He was number 6 for Travis, also number 6 for Jay. I had him at the highest at number 4. I had him actually ahead of Julio and Keenan Allen because Michael Thomas is so young and the targets he's commanding there in New Orleans. He's getting 149 targets a year, and you don't hear anything about him like dropping passes or being any kind of off-field issues. Or I just love Michael Thomas. I like the future he has there, at least with Drew Brees for the next 2 seasons. But again, another first-round guy, right?
The same. I think it's the same as Julio. I think he's going to be back end first or the front end of the second.
I
Especially
agree.
someone that goes like a back-to-back wide receiver.
Now, okay, this brings us to Devontae Adams. And I love Devontae Adams. I own him in one of my dynasty leagues. He's number 7 on the list. We all have him at either 8 or 7. For some reason, this guy strikes me as one of those guys that every single person, every fantasy expert right now is super high on. But is it possible that he just completely has a dud season? Like, I mean, he had all those concussions last year. If he has one more concussion, he could miss multiple weeks. Every time I see him get hit hard in the head, I'm like, oh my God, like this guy's going to be out for 5 weeks. And then he plays the very next week. But eventually those concussions start to get easier and easier to get. And I'm a little worried that Devontae Adams, being the number 1, which he's never been in his career, it's always been Jordy Nelson has been the de facto number 1, is he going to be able to take the bull by the horns and just completely be a top 7? We have a number 7 wide receiver. Everyone believes it?
I think he was the number 1 last year. I mean, de facto, whatever, he was the number 1 last year for me. And I think he's kind of been involved. I think for now, I roll it out.
I'm scared of him.
I ride with it. I have a little bit in the back of my mind, a little bit of concern.
Of the other guys that are on that list, I just there's other guys I would feel more comfortable with, I guess I should say.
Me too. Me as well.
Right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
he could have a big year if he gets 10 or 12 touchdowns and has a huge bump up in touchdowns like he always does. He always gets good in the red zone target. He's always there. But do you see Devontae Adams catching 100 balls? Like I don't. Do you see him catching like 90?
No, he has a hyper efficient quarterback.
Right.
And it's the Aaron Rodgers effect.
But he throws to everyone there, and I'm a little worried about Devontae Adams.
He does, but he can support. Like Jordy Nelson was a great fantasy asset for a while. So
yeah.
And if he's the guy that's going to kind of take that kind of lion's share and be the next generation Jordy Nelson up there in Green Bay, yeah, you want a piece of that.
I feel like the next few guys though are all kind of interchangeable.
Yes.
Not all the way down the list, but like coming in at number 8 is AJ Green, and then coming in at number 9 is Larry Fitzgerald. And I feel like any one of those guys, as far as Adams, Green, Fitzgerald, like I thought putting Fitzgerald number 9 for myself, I thought I was going to be too low on him, and it looks like you guys were right on the same page with me. James, you have him at 8. Travis has him at number 9. He could be a guy easily that finishes in the top 5.
No, this is the guy that I want to talk about out of those 3 is Mike Evans. I had him at 9, and I thought for sure I'd be the lowest on him, and both you and Travis both have him at 12.
Why do you love Mike Evans so much?
I honestly don't. It's all touchdown dependent for me with Mike Evans, and I don't know. I almost liked the fact that Fitzpatrick is taking over the first 3 weeks of the season because I think he's more accurate than Jameis Winston is. And I think that Mike Evans is going to have a good watch. You watch this right now. His first 3 weeks for Mike Evans will be the best 3 weeks stretch of the entire season. So the only reason why I didn't have him lower is because he has elite talent, but I think that the quarterback situation there doesn't fit him well. I don't know.
I disagree.
Well, you have him at 12, so.
That's not going to be his best 3-week stretch of the season.
Okay. I will stand firm on that.
Stand all you want, brother.
That's all I do.
Stand in the rain, baby.
So we have Evans coming in at number 10.
I like Evans, and for me, it was because of the quarterback situation.
I think you love Evans.
No, I do. I would take
any share you can get of him, you'll own him.
Absolutely. I would rather have Mike Evans than Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
AJ Green
for
and
what?
Fitzgerald.
For what?
For Dynasty.
Clarify. For Dynasty or?
Anything, really.
Well, it can't be anything. It can't be anything because you have Devontae Adams at number 8.
I just explained to you, it's the quarterback situation that's going on. You got the main quarterback, the starter, who's missing the first 3 weeks. So I'm not going to, in good conscience, rank him higher knowing that's going on.
You dropped him 4 spots because of Fitzpatrick.
Because the backup quarterback is starting the beginning of the season, yes.
Who is... Okay, all right.
So
who is what? A world beater?
No, I think that he's the same...
He's definitely not.
So if week 4 rolls around,
Jameis Winston is not an elite quarterback. Can we agree
I'm
to
just
that?
saying week 4 rolls around and you own Devontae Adams and there's another owner that owns Mike Evans and he wants to trade straight up, you do it right then, week 4? So from week 4 to 13?
No, not me.
What are you talking? Like redrafts? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on if things are looking good for like if Mike Evans is doing pretty well and doesn't look like it's all kind of crap in the bed there. Yeah, I do.
All right. I might take Mike Evans and hold to that. What about coming in number 11? There's actually a 2-way tie here between T.Y. Hilton and Doug Baldwin.
Who would you rather have?
I have Hilton ranked higher, but I thought I was kind of low on Baldwin. I think he's going to have a pretty good season there. I have Hilton at number 10, assuming that Andrew Luck comes back healthy week 1.
Yeah, you were the highest on him. I have him at 11. Travis has him at 17.
Yeah.
And is it just because of Andrew Luck?
Yeah, I think for me, he has done very well, and he's always been right in the mix as far as fantasy relevance, but he reminds me a lot of Deshaun Jackson, and as the years go by, I just feel like he's very dependent on some big games. Sometimes he doesn't have like a lion's share of things where he's getting a ton of receptions, or he's like the main guy. It seems like it's always like kind of big plays for me. I'd rather have Doug Baldwin, who doesn't drop any balls, who is very, very, very consistent. And there's those games that T.Y. Hilton lets you down.
I feel like with Luck, though, he didn't really have those boomer bust games. I think that Deshaun Jackson is the kind of guy that gets you only a few targets, but T.Y. Hilton was targeted quite a bit when Andrew Luck was there.
Yeah, 2-3 years ago. I'm okay.
Well, that's when Andrew Luck was there.
That's when Andrew Luck was there.
Well, exactly. I'm okay missing on the year that he comes back and does whatever, instead of hoping to thread the needle on that, since it's been so long. Like I'd rather take another option I think is more consistent at that point.
I'm not gonna argue with Doug Baldwin, because I think he's gonna have a good season as well. So I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
Because I think where you're drafting these guys is the part of the draft where you want to play it safe, as safe as you can. Really, you don't want to take like big swing and misses early in the draft in your first 4-5 rounds or whatever it is. So I would rather have more.
They're both in the same kind of situation too. If Luck obviously comes back healthy, because both teams I think are going to have a really bad defense and they're going to have to throw. So you have Russell Wilson throwing to Doug Baldwin and hopefully Andrew Luck throwing to T.Y. Hilton. So it should be a situation where both guys are hopefully getting a lot of targets.
Of these first 14, 15-ish guys, the one guy to me that has potential to drop the most is the next guy on the list. Number 13 is Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, Travis has him. He finished as wide receiver number 9 last season in our PPR league. Travis has him at 10. Jay, you have him at 14. I have him at 18. I think that I have him at 18, and I honestly thought like I could make a case for him finishing even less than that. Like I was trying to put him in the 20s because I just don't.
Who, Thielen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I think I've come.
He could drop completely off the map of these top like 15 to 20 guys and just not even be a wide receiver 2.
And he could be firmly planted right in the same spot he has been kind of.
I would say no on that, respectively.
Yeah. Okay. I think a lot of it has to do with there's nothing. He just kind of burst on the scene.
I say respectively.
But when you break down his game, like the kid is solid, man, and all the kid does is get open.
Yeah.
And he's got a better quarterback.
But different though. He's different.
Different than what? What are you talking
Different than Case Keenum.
Kirk Cousins is better quarterback than Case Keenum. I don't care what you guys say. You guys are crazy for thinking it's going to be a
better in what? And better in what aspect though?
Like, every aspect.
Right.
I don't understand.
Broad strokes. That's a broad stroke.
Where were you guys before last year on Case Keenum? Like all of a sudden, you guys are blowing smoke up Case Keenum's skirt so much. It's crazy to me.
Why is it kind of skirt?
I think he's a decent kind of quarterback, but he's been a career backup. And he got a chance on a great team that surrounded him with great.
So when he got the starting opportunity on those other teams, who were his weapons to throw to? Like where did he ever go where he was like, dude, this guy's got every opportunity in the world. He's gonna succeed. Like there's nowhere.
He had Andre Johnson.
Always had one good guy.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins' rookie season.
Okay, he's had good weapons, and he's had teams around him. He was on a team where he battled it out with the gunslinger, bro.
You're thinking that Adam Thielen right now, you honestly see him finishing as a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL this next season?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just don't see that in any realm. We've seen the ceiling, and it's not even close. Finishes a top 10? Yes, 1,000%. Right.
Let's move on to the next guy here so we can get off the old Adam Thielen train.
Choo-choo!
Number 14, Tyreek Hill. The reason he's so low is because Travis had him at number 21.
He's still not ready to believe in Tyreek Hill.
I had him at 11. James, you had him at 12. So we both think he's going to be a top wide receiver 1. A lot of people are bumping him up because of the Patrick Mahomes quarterback switch from Alex Smith. But we really don't know. Is this going to help him or hurt him as far as the switching in quarterbacks?
I think it's more than just quarterback. I think it's the addition of Sammy Watkins as well. I think there's a few. I don't think he's going to be terrible.
That helps him.
I think Watkins helps him.
I don't think it helps.
Like, tremendously.
They've never had a wide receiver 2 there. Like when Hill's been there, like the last 3 seasons.
And all those targets didn't go to anybody else that wasn't going to do anything. Now you have a guy that can actually do something and command some targets that they paid a decent amount of money for. That everybody was kind of surprised how much they paid him.
You weren't.
Not really, because I like Sammy Watkins. I think he's a good talent. I think he's healthy now, so I think
Tyreek Hill versus Sammy Watkins.
he produced it. In what?
Whatever you want. Name it.
Yahtzee.
Name it.
Yahtzee.
Name it. Yards, receptions, fantasy points. You name it. I'll take it.
A race?
All right, go ahead. Literally anything that they can do on a football field, I will take Tyreek Hill over Sammy Watkins.
Two of the
I'll
fastest
let you make the bet at the end of the episode. Go ahead.
Well, that brings us to number 15, which we're all pretty solid on, is Demaryius Thomas.
I love you, Ron. I love you. All right, Demaryius Thomas, number 15. Yeah, we were all pretty close there. He's 31 years old now, or he's going to be 31 at the start of the season, I should say. But the quarterback play there has been so sketchy, and he still is somehow in the top 24 every single year. Now you give him a quarterback that can actually play. I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't have him inside your top 15 at wide receiver, correct?
Yeah, I thought I would actually be higher than the both of you, and it turns out that I was the lowest at number 17.
Yeah.
I like Keenum a lot better than anything he had last year in Denver. So if Keenum can do anything at all whatsoever, you should see a huge bump up for Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders.
Travis doesn't respect Case Keenum, but somehow he's the highest on Demaryius Thomas. So can you explain that?
Yeah, it's stability. Keenum will bring stability. Keenum's not going to be all world beating, but he's going to bring stability, which they did not have up there. So I think Demaryius and Emmanuel Sanders benefit tremendously from that. And I think, like Jay said, he was doing things like I can't remember who said it. I'm so confused right now. But
clearly
he was doing good things with terrible quarterback play.
Yes,
So,
that was me.
And so now that he's going to have stability, and you've already had guys coming out saying that it's nice to kind of have this kind of vibe going on with a guy that they can kind of rally
believe
around. Yeah, they
Yes.
believe in.
That actually has potential to play more than 4 weeks and then get yanked, basically.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. 16, Stephon Diggs. We were all very close here. We don't talk about our rankings with each other. We just kind of did them and then kind of sent them to each other so that Travis could put the consensus in. Stephon Diggs, we have him at 16, 16, and 17. So you can't get any more consistent there.
He's a high-end wide receiver too.
So, okay, but both of you like Adam Thielen more than you like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, you actually like Diggs only one spot higher than
Correct.
Thielen, though.
I put them right next to each other, and I wanted to drop Adam Thielen even more. But I think Stephon Diggs got the better talent. I think that Adam Thielen runs a better routes. I think he has maybe better hands, if you want to say that. But I think it takes more targets to make him relevant than it does for Stephon Diggs because of touchdowns and because of red zone targets and other things like that.
I think that Stephon Diggs is really just pumped up just from that one game that everyone remembers. The last game he played in was against New Orleans Saints.
Oh, his
because
first
no
4
one was
weeks
talking about him at all.
His first 4 weeks is going to be shot out of a cannon, and then after that, I don't know. I'm so iffy on Minnesota's wide receivers.
Tough.
It was an anomaly.
Here comes the crybaby. I knew it was coming.
It was an anomaly. It's an anomaly. Anomaly.
Stephon Diggs is a crybaby.
I like my receivers have a little bit of toughness to them, to where I know that if they get some kind of minor hangnail, they're gonna play
Who's
through
the guy?
it.
Who's the guy right now? Besides Larry Fitzgerald,
Who you like Laquan Treadwell? Is that who you like?
who do you love? That's just like a man. He's just a tough guy. Name a guy.
So far, any of these guys, Antonio Brown would play through injury. I think that
Antonio
DeAndre
Brown got
Hopkins
injured
would.
3 games last season.
Okay, a torn calf and a hangnail is completely
I'm
different.
just a hangnail.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs gets any kind of minor thing and he's out for 2 weeks and he's questionable
Devontae Adams missed games.
with a concussion.
I'm just saying. All those guys miss games. AJ Green's missed a lot of games in his career. So what are we talking? Questionable. You're talking.
Doug Baldwin.
I think you hate when Doug Baldwin's an anomaly. I think that you hate when the guy's questionable, is what it is. And if the guy's questionable, it's like, oh, God dang it. I have a wide receiver 1 and 2
Julio
here.
Jones.
Do I play? Exactly. Julio Jones is one of those guys. He just mentioned in another episode saying that he's just inconsistent.
You never know. Yeah, you never
Is he a
know.
decoy or is he the real deal? And you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next, Golden Tate. How about talk about consistency? Golden Tate number 17. You have Travis has him at 19. I got him at 15. Jay has him at 22. I'm a little dumbfounded here. So Golden Tate's been a top 15 guy for I don't even know 4 seasons maybe. Every season that he's been with Detroit. So at least 3 seasons there that he's been with Detroit that he's finished as a wide receiver top 15 guy. 90 catches or more in 3 consecutive seasons. Why are you guys so low on him?
I got him as a wide receiver too. I think that's right where he kind of belongs.
But Jay's number 22 on him, and last season he finished number 12. Season before that he was top 12. Season before that he was top 12. Is it because of his age, or is it because of
I think it's guys around him.
Galladay? Like what?
There's a lot of guys that you would rather take. I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
Really?
I didn't mean to speak for you.
Really?
It's just when you look at my list, I'm looking at who I would put him ahead of, and there wasn't many guys I could find that. I thought I was really low on Golden Tate when I did my rankings, and I thought I was low on Juju because that's just how it shook out. Like there's other guys I would rather have that maybe you guys might have lower, like Jarvis Landry, for instance.
But
like, you guys are both low on Landry, or I'm a little higher on Landry. It's just looking for a spot to put Golden Tate. But I still have him, and I know we're not talking about tiers, but I still have him up there with all same guys. Like I still have him in the same tier, meaning that anywhere in my 15 to 23 range is all about the same tier.
If you took names out of it, this is a question for both of you. If you took names out of it and you just said, hey, look, if a guy is for 3 consecutive seasons has caught over 90 balls, regardless of the name, regardless of age, like you could use Larry Fitzgerald there, you could use Golden Tate. Like there's only a couple of guys, Antonio Brown maybe. If I said it's guaranteed you go into the league, into the season knowing that the last 4 years he's gotten 90 plus catches every single season, wouldn't you be like, all right, this guy's a wide receiver 1? If you took name out of it?
Not necessarily.
No? Okay.
Not knowing what I know now.
Because every one of those other guys are wide receiver 1s, and they still are in their rankings. You have Larry Fitzgerald is still wide receiver 1. He's 34 years old. All these guys that catch 90 balls plus a year are still in your top 12, and for some reason Golden Tate is not.
Because there are some guys that finish the year in areas, but throughout the season, there's plenty of weeks where they hurt you and they don't help you. And you tend to kind of shy away from those guys. At the end of the year, do they end up finishing there in that area? Yeah, they do. But those are not guys you necessarily want to have on your roster a lot of the times to depend on because it is kind of an up and down ride.
There's only maybe 3 or 4. That's a handful or less of guys.
Yeah, but you can use the same argument for you, James. Like you have Allen Robinson ranked ahead of Golden Tate. Why? Golden Tate's a top 12 receiver every year, and Robinson's been hurt. And then the year before that, he did terrible.
Ooh, yes.
He's had one good year.
I can tell you. I have them right next to each other, 13 and 15. Mm-hmm. And I think that Allen Robinson, being on the Chicago Bears, I think they're going to be down a lot of games. And I think that Trubisky is actually going to have to throw the ball, and they're going to open the playbook for him this season. And I think Allen Robinson is clear-cut, not even close. He's the number 1 guy. Golden Tate, however, has Marvin Jones there, who kind of just won't go away. I still think Golden Tate's the number 1 receiver there, but last season, Golden Tate finished number 12. Marvin Jones finished number 13. They finished right next to each other because of long plays and because of touchdowns. Allen Robinson, to me, is a clear-cut number 1 wide receiver on Chicago and will get so many targets that I think the production's got to be there for the targets he's going to get. He's going to go from Jacksonville getting whatever he got there in Jacksonville to Chicago where he's going to get, I guarantee, will get a minimum of 125 targets.
So you think Trubisky's better than Bortles?
What do you mean?
I'll take the under on 125 targets.
Okay, deal.
All right.
Wall bet that Allen Robinson gets 125 targets. Does he have to play a certain amount of games or?
Just targets. Yeah. At the end of the season.
So, injuries. Okay, that's fine.
I'm just saying that, like, you can't say that. Why aren't we taking Golden Tate as a top 12 receiver when you have Allen Robinson ahead of him, who's only been good 1 year? Yes, there's a lot of potential there for Robinson, but he's been good 1 year.
I guess I use the same excuse, and it's not on purpose, but like literally as I was going through my guys, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like Allen Robinson's like value right now in a dynasty league is kind of what I looked at, and I'm like, man, like why everyone is so high on Allen Robinson? He's got all the opportunity in the world now, being with a new team, with a new offense, and I wanted to put him like around like 16 to 20 range, but just like you said, I couldn't find guys that like I thought were better than him.
And that's the way I came out with Tate. I have Tate
but
as
Tate's
a wide receiver
done it for 4 years in a row.
And that's why I have him as a consistent number 2. I don't want Golden Tate as my number 1 wide receiver, but I would be more than happy to have him as my number 2 receiver.
Would you be okay if Allen Robinson was your number 1 receiver?
No, I would not.
Okay. Travis, you feel the same?
Which bears out in his rankings. He has him at 20. You know what? We'd all be lying if Tate wasn't perennially underrated, and there's a reason for that. He's not drafted by the stats he finishes with because you've had him on your squads, and he's kind of let you down like a little bit too much.
But where? That's crazy. If a guy is averaging 95, like I get the yardage because like yardage can come at
he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns either.
But he doesn't need that. That's the thing is that he's not even known for touchdowns. It's not like you expect him to get 10 touchdowns. It's like if Julio Jones is averaging 1,400 yards, that's different than a guy that's averaging 95 receptions every single year. In a PPR league, You want the guy that's going to get the receptions, the Jarvis Landrys, the Golden Tate types, the Larry Fitzgerald types. You want those guys. You don't rely on those guys to get you fluky 10 touchdowns or 8 touchdown season because he doesn't need that. He can get you 3 touchdowns, 98 catches, and 1,000 yards, and he's going to be a wide receiver 1.
Why does he always get drafted kind of late though?
I don't know.
Because he lets you down. He doesn't.
When?
He doesn't help you win weeks.
Right, he's never going to have a week that gets you 45.
Correct.
But he'll very rarely get you a week where he's just completely irrelevant. It's very rare.
That's not that rare.
And now we're going to talk about what rare is and everything like that. I'm just saying, like, it's rare. Out of 16 weeks in the season, I'd be very shocked if less than, 3 weeks maybe he's just completely irrelevant, where he's just not getting you anything. Because 90% of the people that drafted him are not drafting him to be the wide receiver 1. People drafted him as their wide receiver 2, their flex guy, and so on and so forth. Those guys are winning their leagues right now because he's getting you, on average, 14 to 16 points a
week.
week.
Are winning their leagues now.
There's no proof on that. Let's move on to number 18, Allen Robinson. The reason he came in this way is because Travis has him at 18, I have him at 20, James has him at 13.
I just like those opportunity there.
You kind of talked about, and then tied with him actually at number 18 is Amari Cooper.
I thought I was going to be super low on him. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to be super high on him.
No, Travis has him at 14. Yeah. I have him at 15, and James has him at 22. I've said it a million times on this podcast that if this is his last year I'm giving him. I think that this is the year where he breaks out. If he doesn't break out, then I'll say I was wrong and I'm off Amari Cooper. But I'm giving him one more year,
we all
especially
think
with Gruden as the head coach.
No, this is going to be his year.
And I think that Derek Carr is going to force feed him. So I think his targets are going to be through the roof, and this is make or break for him.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Of course not.
I feel like you guys hone in on the one bad year, and you totally disregard the first 2 seasons he came into the league, which were very good seasons. So to expect anything but a bounce back to me is kind of crazy. So I feel like Cooper's going to be fine.
Yep.
I wouldn't say they were very good seasons. I said there was one season where he was right around the 12th or 13th, and the other one I think he finished as wide receiver 18.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have him at 15, which is higher.
So both over 1,000-yard seasons, and he had a very good wide receiver on the other side as well to compete for targets with and all that stuff with. And
he has that now though with Jordy Nelson, or is he not?
You're going to compare Crabtree in those years with Cooper with an aged Jordy Nelson coming off the injury.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'd rather have Crabtree than Jordy Nelson at this point in their career.
No.
At this point.
No. Okay. Yes.
He doesn't have the same thing on the other side. Is the point.
So number 19 we have.
You also has Martavis Bryant there.
Alshon Jeffrey.
We know Jay hates Martavis.
Alshon Jeffrey coming in at number 19. I was the highest on him at number 18. James, you had him at 20, and Travis was lowest at 25. Do you just not? You think coming off the injury, the surgery in the offseason, Travis? Is that why you have him so low? You have him outside your top 24.
When's the last time he had a 100-yard receiving game?
Same time as Dez.
I bet you he's had one before Dez.
Okay.
I just saw it on Twitter. It's been like 30.
Yeah, but
games. It's been
thing is
ridiculous.
You don't. All right,
I
don't know.
13
we're
games
getting
with Carson Wentz.
We're getting off topic here. You don't need a guy to get 100 and 120 or 125 yards a game. If the guy is a PPR guy or if he produces touchdowns, there's other ways.
Alshon Jeffrey's a PPR guy.
I'm saying there are other ways. Touchdowns.
Yes, there are other ways.
Catches.
But is Alshon Jeffrey that guy?
As a reception guy, no. Touchdown guy,
Okay,
yeah.
So he's not getting
red zone target guy, yeah.
He's not getting receptions. For
He's
him.
not a red zone target. He's gigantic. I'm asking.
He's on a team that spreads the ball around quite a bit to different people, and they will use kind of whoever.
Okay.
No?
You have how many receivers are really going to be relevant this year? How many wide receivers for Philly are going to be relevant? Aguilar, Jeffrey. Go ahead, Travis. Name a third one.
What's your point, though?
Okay.
But the next guy
This proves the point that if they're not that relevant, that he's down. That's why I'm lower on.
Let's bring in the next guy, which is number 20, Juju Smith-Schuster, because you actually have Juju 10 spots higher than Alshon. So you'd rather have the number 2 in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
than
the
number 1
argument
in
you
Philly.
guys gave last year when he came out as a rookie is that he's the number 3. And where did he finish? Juju's a good receiver. He's a good
one.
Yeah, barely at 24. I like Juju actually, so I think he's going to be very viable in that slot as the number 2 wide receiver.
You don't think James Washington takes anything with him, away from him?
James Washington's going to be the new Juju.
Right. He's right.
No,
and Juju's a Martavis of last year. See how it all crumples down?
2 of the 3 of us have him in the top 24, and I'm one of the guys.
Well, I have him at 25. Okay. He's outrageous. You know what? It was another guy. There's so many guys I'm doing my rankings, and instead of, you know what, Travis, actually, you said it best. I think it was last week or the week before. If you were to able to like go into a cave, and you didn't worry about what other people thought or what other people had the rankings, or like, well, I know Jay's high on this guy and Travis isn't, and this guy is this. Like, if I didn't know anything about you two and your thoughts about like Sammy Watkins and like the Jujus, and like we differ on a lot of guys here on the show for sure. But I'm in my mind as I'm doing this, I can't help but think like, I'm like, okay, I'm 25 on Juju. Could I possibly see him higher? Yeah, for sure I could. Could I see him lower? Yeah, I could as well. And I'm like trying to struggle sometimes of like where to put these guys in of what just I feel and not like worry about what you guys think.
I think,
or the fantasy community as a whole.
For sure. I think that's
it's hard.
It is hard, and like I have to block stuff out as I'm doing my thing and really kind of think about, well, what do I think about the situation and the player and yada yada yada. So, excuse me, I just dropped one. So
dropping nuggets.
Dropping nuggets.
That's what a nugget sounds like when you drop it.
They hit hard.
Right, I can't wait to hear this nugget.
It's not soft.
Jesus.
Hit them nuggets. Hit us with it.
I completely.
Well, it just hit the ground. Pick it up.
You were gushing about Juju. Go ahead.
You're worried about his off-field antics?
Oh, okay, going into a cave.
Yes.
So I think sticking with like your initial gut, because it's okay. I think sometimes you get stuck with, oh, I got to put this guy in the right spot. But guess what? They're not going to be in the right spot. And it's going to change as we get more information and more data points come out to us. And we're like, you know what? I should probably bump this guy up. You know what? I don't really see that happening right now in training camp. I should bump this guy down.
There's never, ever been in history of fantasy, no matter how deep of analytics you go or stats or any kind of numbers that you want to crunch, there's never, ever been a person to come out with fantasy rankings that have been 100% on. Like,
wait, what?
You're going to be off a little bit on some guys. You're going to favor some guys, and maybe it's their size, maybe it's their speed, maybe it's that you know that they fit in good with the offense or offensive coordinator, maybe it's a quarterback. There's a lot of different reasons to like a lot of different guys, and that's where you struggle sometimes where these guys fit in. All of us agree, though, that Juju's going to be a top 25 guy, and that's the end of the story, is that he's going to be a solid contributor to this Pittsburgh offense for a long time.
He came in as a rookie and did what he did, so that says a lot to me.
That holds a lot of weight.
He's gonna be a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
That's what's funny about this is that you
could he
have
be
him
a wide
outside
receiver
the
one?
He could.
Yeah. I have him at 25, but like I said, you guys give me an argument, I could easily see him as a top 20 easily. Top 15, that's a little ridiculous, Travis, but that's not out of the realm. Roethlisberger loves to throw the ball, and the tight end situation there is just okay. So really, if you're telling me that they're going to get most of the targets,
right? Well, what you had to say about Thielen, and you don't see him doing whatever.
I don't like that.
If Thielen can finish where he finished, Juju definitely could finish in a realm like that on a good season if everything kind of goes right. Like it's very possible. If Brown goes
we're
down,
talking
he's
both
a guy,
wide receiver twos, so
right. But if Brown goes down, he's not a guy to me that will just wilt under the pressure. I feel like he will be. And when Brown did go down, he did well when Brown.
But then in that case, you would hope that James Washington would play the same role as Juju did last season, where James Washington steps in, Juju's the number 1, Washington's the number 2.
I think that's how it would be.
Yeah,
right.
I do too.
So number 21 then, Travis, you and I are on the same page on this guy, Brandon Cooks.
I want to be a little bit higher on him, but.
Yeah. There's another guy that I thought I was going to be low on. I had him at number 19. You guys had him at 23.
Just this
week, I don't like Brandon Cooks.
They signed him to a 5-year extension in LA, so he's going to be there for a little while. Travis, you and I had him at 23. James, you have him at 19, so we both have him back in. All 3 of us have him back in wide receiver 2.
You talked me into it. He's number 23. Like, that's how easy it would be to talk me down from Brandon Cooks.
To me, it's
so many options there, and
that's the thing. What they do there is they don't favor one guy.
No,
and they're not just going to feed him the rock. He's
Correct.
a good football player to me, and I think. He's a good wide receiver.
But would either one of you guys be absolutely just shocked if he didn't finish as wide receiver 1 there and he finished as like number 2 or number 3? If it was like
on his own team?
Yeah, if it was like Cooper Kupp and then Brandon Cooks fantasy points wise, or if it was like Robert Woods and then Brandon Cooks and then Cooper Kupp, like would you be surprised at any 3 of those combination of where they finish?
No.
Like, are both you guys solid on Brandon Cooks is going to be the number 1 receiver scoring fantasy-wise?
No, I just feel
Me
like
either.
he should be, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Should be.
I think he will be, and I think if he's not
Cooper Kupp, right?
whoever the next guy is, he's right there with him.
I had a tough time ranking the 3 Rams
Me too.
receivers, and I didn't know where to put them, and I ended up with all 3 of them in the top 33. Like, literally, like I had a tough time. I didn't know where they were going to shake out in this.
Yeah, I agree because they can use him however they want
And they spread the ball everywhere,
yeah,
too.
yeah. So for me, anyways, personally, if Cooper Kupp ends up winning this and he ends up being the most fantasy relevant guy because of receptions or however he gets there, I would not be whatsoever shocked. Now, to me, it comes down to, between Cooks and Woods. If Cooks finishes below Woods, yes, I will be surprised in that case because Cooks should be a lot better of a receiver than Robert Woods.
You know what? Now that I'm kind of we're talking about it, their receiving core, they're good football players.
Oh, for sure. All of them.
Woods
All
is a
three of
good
them.
football player.
All three of them.
They're just good football
And then you
players.
throw in Gurley there too. Like that's why the Rams to me are scary out of the NFC. I think that they can compete with Philly easily.
Gerald Everett.
What about the defense? That's not even to mention Joe Everett. How about Tyler Higbee? We're going that deep.
Yeah.
So number 22, we have Jarvis Landry in our consensus.
Travis hates him.
Yeah, you definitely hate him. You don't have him in your top 24.
I don't.
I have him at 19. James, you have him at 21. So you and I are pretty close.
This is one of those things where the group think in me wanted to put him higher just because he had 100 receptions every year, whatever. But there's a few guys on my list that are fluid in motion, and I think depending on different things that play out on their respective teams, like I feel like he's probably a guy that will rise in my rankings when I get a better picture of what's going on there in Cleveland. What quarterback is probably going to win the job?
I'm going to ask you both separately. If you were a Jarvis Landry owner, okay, which Jay, I think you are, maybe Travis, I don't think you are.
No.
But if you're a Jarvis Landry owner, would you rather for the entire season have Baker Mayfield or would you rather have Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback if you own Landry and you were trying to get the best production out of him?
Mayfield for me.
I would probably want Tyrod.
Wow. Yeah, it's literally I don't like Mayfield's a more accurate quarterback, but like throwing him into the fire as a rookie,
Right.
I don't know if I'm all for that. Now, if you ask me a season from now, like next season, then I think it would be very easy. I would say Mayfield, but week one, if you're telling me I can pick my quarterback to be my fantasy, guy to get me the ball, I can pick my fantasy quarterback to get my receiver the ball. It'd be hard not to say Tyrod Taylor just because he has experience, but. It's a coin flip.
He's done well enough in his spots, and he hasn't had the greatest things around him.
Yes, now you're giving him all these weapons.
I like Mayfield, and he was very accurate in college. All the things for him were in college, and I don't think he's going to bust or flame out necessarily, but I think there will be a learning curve a little bit for the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
So
let's round it out.
23, we got Marvin Jones in the consensus. Travis, you were definitely highest on Marvin Jones, but we weren't like super far off. James and I have him just outside of our top 24.
Finishes wide receiver 13 last season, and I would not be shocked if he didn't finish as in the top 24 because of the emergence of Kenny Golladay. They did lose Eric Ebron, so all those targets, I don't know if if they stay at the tight end or if they get spread around to the backfield now because Kerryon Johnson can catch. You have Theo Riddick still. You still have Amir Abdullah. We don't know how they're going to use him. But I think that the emergence of Kenny Golladay this season, to me, is going to take some targets away from – it could be both. You could take some targets away from both Tate and Marvin Jones. But I think that Marvin Jones is the one that's not cemented as well as the Golden Tate role. So that's why I'm the lowest on him.
Yeah, I think his role is cemented, and I think I found myself being anti-Marvin Jones because of it wasn't last year, I don't think, it was the year before, where he started off on fire, and then all of a sudden he just fell off the map, and everybody's kind of
on fire is an understatement.
Yeah,
he was like a top 5 guy out of nowhere, and then
200 yard,
fell off.
200 yard game.
And that's what it was. It was the
Yes.
200-yard game. Everybody was like crapping their pants over it.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is
I threw away those shorts.
All his stops, like in Cincinnati, like he's been a good football player. Like he's been good. And
He really has. He's a great number 2.
He's very consistent. And he's not upper echelon. He's not drafted like he's upper echelon. But I think he's a safe pick.
But where you can get him though in redraft leagues is
outside
steal.
of your top 24.
It's a steal. Yeah, he's well outside your top 24. He's one of those guys that can make or break your week if he does have that blow up week. He's one of those guys that's got a huge upside if he connects with Stafford.
Yeah, because you're not drafting him as your wide receiver 2. You're probably drafting him as your wide receiver 3
or 4 even.
And so you're getting that kind of upside with him. To round out the top 24, we have 2 guys that tied at 24.
It's a tie.
Josh Gordon and Sammy Watkins. I honestly should have Sammy Watkins higher than 27. That's one guy that I probably will be moving up.
Yeah, you should.
I really do. I really try to get him in the top 24.
So you think Kansas City Chiefs, with Pat Mahomes, a quarterback, who's going to be a new quarterback to that system, to the as a starter.
Right.
You still have Travis Kelce there, who's the number one option. We all three agreed. You still think that Kansas City has not only Travis Kelce as a top 2 tight end fantasy scoring wise, but 2 more wide receivers that are going to be in the top 24 in scoring. If that's the case, do both of you guys have Kansas City winning the division? Because they're going to be scoring a lot of points. We have 2 top 24 receivers, a top 2 tight end, and a top 7 running back.
I have the
Kareem Hunt?
Chargers winning the division because I think their defense is better than Kansas City's defense.
So defense wins championships for Jay.
Highest scoring team offense in the division.
Possibly. They could be the highest scoring team in the division. I don't think, the Chargers put up a lot of points too, but I think the Chargers defense is a lot better.
I guess I just look at we grazed over Patrick Mahomes a little bit in the quarterback rankings episode because he didn't make our top, he didn't make the episode, let's be honest. But when we talked about where we had him, it was kind of like we were nervous of where to put it down, put a stamp on this, and I know he's not going to be this or I know he's not going to be that. Like we kind of don't really know what Pat Mahomes is going to be. But the fact that you guys, all of us really, have these guys as top 24 guys and a top 2 tight end and a top 7 or 8 running back scoring in Kareem Hunt, all things point to we all three, it looks like we believe in the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
High-powered offense.
Not necessarily, because just like Jacksonville not too long ago, Blake Bortles was a garbage time kind of guy. Like the team wasn't that great, but because the quarterback put them in bad positions sometimes, and I think Mahomes, as much as he will make great plays and put them in good spots, I think he will do just as many to put him behind the 8 ball a little bit. So I think they might be forced to kind of throw sometimes more, and I think that benefits Sammy Watkins. I think Tyreek Hill they can use in different ways, so he doesn't necessarily have to completely rely on receptions necessarily.
I agree.
To be involved. So yeah, I can see them fantasy wise being, all of them being pretty relevant.
Do we want to, real quick, two more things? We're going to pick one guy that's outside our top 24 that we think could squeeze in as a top 24 guy. And also I want to hammer down a wall bet with you with Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins. Did you want to do yards, receptions, fantasy points, you name it, and I'm in.
So first we're picking a guy that's outside of our own top 24 that
Correct.
could finish in the top 24.
How about touchdowns?
No, touchdowns are fluky.
Oh, brother.
I'll take my number 31 ranked guy, Pierre Garçon. I think that, that's a guy that I know he's up there in age, but if he comes back and has any kind of rapport whatsoever with Garoppolo, I think he could be the number 1 there, especially when everybody else that's there in San Fran is younger. Like obviously Goodwin's 26 I believe, but they brought in a couple rookies and Richie James and Dante Pettis. Trent Taylor's pretty young still too, so I think that if Garçon is healthy, that he could be somebody that can finish inside top 24 PPR leagues.
I got 2 guys. You want to go, Travis?
Yeah,
or do we only do one? Let's do one.
Just do one.
Guys too.
All right, let's do 2 then.
You go first.
Sterling Shepard.
Okay.
Said on a previous episode, I love Sterling Shepard. I think that where he's going is like in the 30 to 40 range is kind of where we have him ranked. I have him ranked 33. Personally, I think I would not be surprised whatsoever if he did finish in the top 24. The other guy I really love is Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp, just because of the PPR aspect of it, if you're in a full point PPR league, the chances of him finishing in the top 24 is not out of the realm of possibilities. I don't know where I have him. I have him 29. So my 29th guy I could see being the 24, and to go even a little bit deeper, like I said, Sterling Shepard at 33 could finish in the top 24 as well.
I like Will Fuller.
Me
I think
too.
He's got potential to kind of have a pretty nice season there in Houston. Also, Corey Davis. I'm still riding that Corey Davis train. I think this might be a decent spot for him.
Yeah,
He's not much out of your top 24. He's number 26.
And I had him at 28, and I thought I was gonna be the highest on him because like in a redraft league, if you lined up Corey Davis's name with about the 4 or 5 guys that are going after him, and I was actually on the clock, I'm not 100% sure I wouldn't take all 4 of those guys over Corey Davis. It's just the mystique of Corey Davis of what he can be. And if he can be what everyone thinks he can be, he could be in the top 20 guy easily. I just don't know if he's ready right now this year. I have to see Tennessee's offense to see what the hell's going on there before I pencil him in the top 24.
I'm in a spot in our keeper league where he's under consideration as my second keeper.
What round?
I'm keeping Odell in the first round, and then Corey Davis is the 7th.
I told you he was going to keep Odell.
Yeah. We need to do an episode on
Oh,
that, on
speaking
keepers.
of, okay, we'll talk off air. I got something to tell you guys about. Remind me.
Well, let's leave the listeners hanging there.
All right then.
All right, let's crack one then.
All right,
Let's crack it.
That was great. I got something to tell you guys, but off air. Should I let it run?